Welcome to Breaking Bread, the place that brings people together around the table. And today we're joined by entrepreneur and media personality Mona Kattan here at Milos Atlantis the Royal. Mona, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me as well. It's such an honor to be on the show with you and to get to know you as well and just chat about everything in Dubai.
And before Dubai.
And before Dubai,
Because
exactly.
you had life before Dubai and then life since Dubai.
Oh my God, I can't remember life before Dubai, but yes, let's try.
I'm guessing your life in the US and your life in Dubai don't exactly look the same.
No, not at all, to be honest. And I grew up in like a very small town, both in Massachusetts and in Tennessee, super small. In Massachusetts, I think it was around 15,000 people. Tennessee around 20,000 people. So I've always been from very small communities. So moving to the UAE was a huge culture shock for me, mainly because of the size. It's just such a big, thriving city, and I wasn't used to that.
It's interesting, you say culture shock, but your dad left Iraq. So he left the region when he was very young.
He did, yeah.
And then I've heard you use the term humble beginnings.
Very humble beginnings, yeah. My father, came from a very humble family. His father actually was an orphan, which I don't talk about much, but so my dad completely kind of started from scratch. He had to get, scholarships for studying. So he's always been working very hard. He's always worked from scholarships. So for him, he's always had to teach us to work really hard as well. So it's been something that really taught me to work hard as well. When we first were shared the opportunity, my dad told me he got an offer to teach at AUS, and originally it was supposed to be 1 year. And he was like, how do you feel about moving to the UAE? You know, we can try a 1-year experiment, just living in the Middle East, reconnecting with your roots, and just having a new experience, because he kind of felt that we were too Americanized and we didn't really have a connection to our culture, which honestly is probably very true. You know, I didn't have a connection to my culture and I didn't know much about the Middle East or anything. So we came here, it was 2002, life was very different back then. He was like, just come, experience this. Dubai is East meets West. So it's not too Middle Eastern to where we'll feel completely like we can't fit in, but it's also Middle Eastern enough to just learn and just educate ourselves about the Middle East. So it was a really, really life-changing experience. Like, I can't explain how I feel. I think if I hadn't moved here, I just would be a completely different human. It's really shaped who I am today and who I am as a businesswoman especially. So yeah,
and it's home.
I'm so grateful that my dad made this decision to move us here. And again, it was supposed to be 1 year. It's been 22 and counting, and I don't imagine myself ever leaving, to be honest.
Hi Mona, hi Michelle.
Hello,
How
chef.
are you?
Great.
Welcome to Milos.
Thank you.
My name is Grigorios. I'm the head chef in Milos. And let me introduce, here is our little signature ceremony where we have our homemade signature sourdough bread, a bit of our Greek olive oil, which is from the sister of the chef Kostas. And then here we have some fresh oregano coming straight forward from Greece. So here you can dip a bit your grilled bread.
I've heard about this bread.
Enjoy a bit of freshness and, let's say, Greek ambience. Welcome once again in Milos and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so you moved to Dubai in 2002.
As soon as I stepped foot into Dubai, I felt like I was home.
Really?
And my culture shock went away, and I was like, you know what, I could picture myself staying here forever, and I just felt so alive. I felt like it was a city full of people who were very friendly, very welcoming, very generous, and I just felt like being here, I felt like I would grow and experience things that I would never experience back home in the US where I lived. So it was definitely like a huge eye-opener, and it made me very hungry to like learn and to meet people, because I felt like, to me, it was the driver was the people. Like, I loved meeting people here in Dubai. Everybody was from somewhere else, had a weird story, and what I loved the most was not fitting in made you fit in, and my whole life I've never felt like I fit in anywhere, so I just felt like I was home.
Hi again. So to start our lunch, we have our Milos special here, which is our Greek signature, let's say, thin layer zucchini and eggplant, which are fried. In the middle, there is a tzatziki surprise with some fried saganaki cheese. Here you have the Greek octopus grilled. Is coming straight from Limnos Island, only for Milos. And here you have our signature Greek salad with Greek tomatoes, some aged barrel feta cheese, and a lot of nice olives inside.
Very
Enjoy
fresh.
your lunch once
Thank you
again.
Thank you.
so
Thank you so
much.
much.
I want to go back to starting and founding Huda Beauty with your sister or sisters.
Yes.
How do you just start a business where you know from the beginning you have global objectives? How do you find investors? What was it like at the time? And if you can reflect a little bit about the beauty industry at that time.
Sure. You know, it was something that did happen like step by step. You know, in the very early days, I actually, you know, Huda was a makeup artist and she was doing a lot of my friends' makeup at the time. And again, timing is everything. You know, this was 2012 actually. And she was doing all my friends' makeup. She was actually making lashes for them because she didn't like any of the lashes out there. And a comment
How do you do that?
She would just cut some and stick them together and then apply them. So it was never like a perfect band. She'd have to like cut and glue some and make them perfect. Because at the time it was very like not competitive. Like the best lashes were MAC or a few brands that were like very expensive. There was nothing like very accessible, easy to find at a really good price point, really beautiful design. Today, of course, there's too much in the market. It's insane. But at the time, you know, there was a lack of supply for this. And all my friends who were her clients would constantly ask me, where do we get Huda's lashes? And I kept hearing this question on repeat. And then one day I had an epiphany. I was like, because I'd be like, sorry, you can't get them. She makes them.
Then you're like, wait a second.
And then
We're
I was like,
onto something.
wait, why do I keep saying this? Maybe we can make them, you know, maybe we can make them and sell them, you know? So I asked my sister, I was like, how would you feel if we created a lash brand? Because the idea was a lash brand at the time. And she was like, you know what, if you can help me with the business side, finding the manufacturers, helping me get in Sephora, because she really wanted to get in Sephora, she's like, let's do it. And so I went, I researched every manufacturer in the world.
And where did you end up manufacturing?
One of the top lash manufacturers in the world in Indonesia. They're number one. So we also had to beg them to work with us. We had to beg Sephora to take a bet on us
And
too.
where's the money coming from?
The money started off really small. You know, we started with $6,000, which was Alia's money. Alia's a saver. She doesn't spend a lot. Till today, she's the best.
In
out of all
Dubai?
us.
In Dubai, a saver?
She's a saver, you know, she's very, you know, again, humble beginnings. She, you know, lived with my parents during their hardest time, so she still saves. She does not like to spend at all. But thankfully, she had the money, and, you know, at the time, it wasn't a big risk. It was $6,000. We're like, you know, it's not too much to invest. And Huda was also still doing makeup to fund some things like the packaging and the events and stuff. So it all kind of came together, and we launched the brand after lots of begging from Sephora. You know, Huda actually, we had a meeting with their distributor, which is Allied, and I was working with them through the beauty salon at the time. And it's so funny how like everything kind of adds up to like bring things together to make the stars align. And we went in with a lash tray. We had nothing. We didn't have packaging. We didn't have anything. We were just like, can you please like take a bet on us?
What was the pitch then?
It was, there's
Why were
no
you
lashes
special?
out there. Like we're like, the lashes out here suck. You know, everybody's asking for lashes. And she already had built an online community with her blog at the time, which was just hudabeauty.com. So she already had influence. So it was a little bit easier to sell, to get them to take a bet. And it was small quantities at the time, very like small investment compared to like launching a brand today. So Huda worked her magic, and she got them to take a bet. And we launched on February 16th, 2013, almost 11 years ago. And
Unbelievable.
yeah, and you know, everything else kind of happened step by step. You know, I would love to say we had this master plan of becoming what we are today back then, but we didn't. You know, it's kind of like you take every step. When you see the next step, you have to strive for the next step and the next step. So it was definitely like step by step. And the investor conversation actually was, you know, investors were knocking on our door when they saw the growth that was happening, especially in 2016 and 17. That was kind of when the whole beauty industry was just like hockey stick. Like everybody was growing exponentially. The power of social media was really taking off. We saw so many brands go from being very small brands to like doing hundreds of millions of dollars of turnover per year in a very short period of time. So the beauty industry was super hot from an investment standpoint, and much hotter than it is today. Like the color cosmetics category is very oversaturated today. So is skincare. Fragrance is hot right now, but you know, they all have their cycles.
Fragrance is always hot in the Middle East.
That's true. That's true. But you know, they all have their cycles. But we were actually approached by so many investors. We didn't need the capital at the time, and we've actually never, till today, we've never raised a single dollar to put in Huda Beauty. It's all come from that $6,000 that Ali put in.
Knock on wood.
Self-funded. One time my dad did step in, which he's just incredible, because when we left our distributors and went directly to Sephora, we had cash flow issues. So he actually sold his house in Iraq to like give us cash for the business. Wow. It wasn't a big amount, it was a small amount, but it was helpful because we couldn't get a loan. We were like too small and too new to get a loan. So he helped us with a small amount. But aside from that bridge loan he gave us, it's been from that $6,000. So that's why I always tell people, you don't need to think you need $1 million to start a business. If you have that hustle muscle, you can get it done, you know? So I want people to remember, stay scrappy, stay hardworking, and you can create magic if you just persevere and be long-term greedy. Like, don't think about today, think about 10 years from now, because 10 years flies by. Hi. Hello.
How is it going so far?
Oh my gosh.
Too good, I think.
Too good.
There's a bit of space here for our sea bass coming straight forward from Corfu Island.
Wow.
Enjoy your lunch once again and your fish. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Has success changed you?
I don't think it has, but I'm not so sure. I feel like I've never been that kind of person that thinks I'm successful. You know, there's no like bucket list that I'm gonna tick that makes me feel successful. For me, it's a daily thing. I feel successful on the day that I'm disciplined. If I'm one day not disciplined, I feel like crap. You know, so it's not like there's no ending to being, there's no like finish line for success for me. It's like I need to be disciplined and goal orientated, and they continue to evolve day after day. And when I'm disciplined, I'm successful. When I'm not, I feel like crap.
And how hard was the decision to join Dubai Bling? As
Hard.
Someone who does
Very
not
hard.
like drama, I know, to join a format that really does like drama.
It was hard, also because I did it without my family. You know, we had done a reality show a long time ago together as a family. So again, it was like one of those things where I was like, I'm going to do this on my own. And I think that was also part of the encouragement. The fact that I was doing it on my own, I was like, this is another step for me to take to be independent and do something on my own.
Although you did pull out of the first season last minute.
I did. I was scared, to be honest with you. I was approached by a few different shows at the time, and most of them were international shows. And Dubai Bling was like something from here, from a regional production company, different productions. And I was skeptical because I was like, they don't have like LA experience, they don't have New York experience, like they're not gonna be at the right standard for me. And that's why I pulled out. And after I watched season 1, I was like, wow, I'm so shocked at the level of quality, production, like they took everything to the next level. And I was like, I felt really bad that I judged them based on where they're based versus like their actual talent. So I decided to join because I really felt season 1 they did a great job.
Right.
Wow, oh my God.
How did you know?
So here we have our Greek yogurt, one of our most signature
One for
desserts.
There's another one on the way? I'm kidding.
I could eat it by myself. It's so smooth, it's so nice, yeah. So here you have our signature Greek yogurt ice cream with some caramelized walnuts on the top and Greek signature honey from Kythera Island from Greece. And here is an ekmek dessert, which is a rolled kataifi filo. And inside there is some cream with caramelized pistachio nuts. Thank you once again for being here today. I'm very happy to have you back, and I'm looking forward to see you once again.
Definitely. What's your dream today?
My dreams are very big. You know, I think, again, just looking at all my role models in life, they're big personalities, people who really changed the world. So I take pieces I like from each person in my life that I have as a role model on my vision board, and I'm trying to take parts of what they've done and do it in my own way. So My dream is definitely to continue building Kayali over the next 7 to 10 years, and I have these aspirations to build more brands within this portfolio.
So to diversify from fragrances?
Partially.
Yeah.
I want to create another fragrance brand, but I also would love to create some other beauty brands as well. So I have a lot of things in mind, and we're working on some plans to really make it come to life. But then afterwards, I would really love to sell to a strategic. And I have one in mind because I feel like that strategic would take Kayali from the next level and also be able to help leave a legacy behind, because I think a lot of founders hold on to their business too long and don't plan what will happen after, they're not in their prime anymore. And, we only have a limited time where we're in our prime for creativity, for doing like the eventing part of the business, being the face of the brand. So I'm planning that out. And
are you in touch with the strategic partner?
Kind of.
Are you building the relationship?
Too much in touch, because I want them to wait 5 to 7 years, and I want them to be like, we want to buy you now. So I'm really mapping it out, and I've got a really long plan. I know it's weird, but I do have a map of where I want to be until I die. So I know that's a bit strange.
Perfectly normal.
I mean, I like to plan everything. I know it's a bit strange.
2040, I know where I am.
I do have like a roadmap for my whole future. And again, estimating I live until I'm like 90, 100, whatever. And again, who knows what will actually happen. But I have like high level ideas of what I want to do. I would like to write some books. I'd like to, once I actually sell, Kayali, I would love to get more involved with children and just disrupting in the education system. My father is very big on education, and I always wanted to be a teacher. Growing up, I really wanted to be involved somehow, because I really respect teachers. I feel like a good teacher can change your life. Like, that it takes that one teacher to teach you something new.
And you have a big focus on emotional well-being.
Yes, I do. I'm very passionate about therapy. Like I started my therapy journey not very long ago. I started like 4 years ago, but I've always been obsessed with it. And I've been doing things on my own. I think I was a little bit scared to kind of like get started. I was almost like afraid to be vulnerable and everything.
Why did you go to therapy?
Someone dragged me to it. That they kind of like, pushed me into it. And at first I was very hesitant, and I didn't feel comfortable because I've always been I was very guarded before. And I think after that one time I was like, I love this. Why didn't I start sooner? Like, what a great experience. And it really felt so relieving. And also I think self-awareness is so important. I think what most people are missing in life is just self-awareness. And I think that if someone can get you to ask the right questions to yourself, that can change your life. So yeah, I definitely think that it's been a game changer for me, and I wish everybody would start.
It's still a little taboo in the region.
It's still taboo, unfortunately. I really wish it would change, and I wish it was mandatory. I wish that, it was required for all of us to have like a great therapist, a great coach.
Maybe it can be.
I hope so. I feel like, it's something that if we had it from a young age, like you're taught this is something that's normal, it's a part of life, it's a part of like getting to your prime, I feel like the world would be different. I actually feel like it would help solve a lot of our world's problems, because people will be focused on being their best self, not being in competition with other people. You want everyone to succeed. You will fulfill yourself at the higher power. So I feel like that's something I'm really passionate about.
You've been in the public eye for a long time, which is surprising when you say and share that initially you were only looking to be back end. And people might assume they know you, right? When they see you on the street, after they've seen Dubai Bling, and just in general, you're very vocal when it comes to your brand.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the best moment? Well, I can say this past year, but I think since going to therapy.
Oh, my best moment? Oh my God, this is so hard. I think my best moment is just feeling content with myself, and it's hard to describe, because I know a lot of people strive for happiness, but for me, I stopped striving for happiness and I just look for inner peace. And I think inner peace comes from feeling like where you're going is in line with where you actually want to go. And that comes from being super disciplined and also very patient, teaching yourself to be patient. So I feel like I've created a lot of exercises for myself now to get me to be very patient and to remember the bigger picture.
Is there a career moment that stands out?
I would say my favorite career moment has definitely been launching Kayali, our fragrance brand, because that was always my dream.
And fragrances have been a part of your life for a really long time.
Yeah, they
I
have,
understand
they
that's your
have.
first purchase as a young adult.
Yeah, that's right. I got my first job when I was 14, and the first paycheck I got wasn't much, but I went to a local CVS pharmacy in the States and I bought 2 perfumes. And I just got hooked. I was like, oh my gosh, perfumes made me feel something that nothing else made me feel, like fashion, you know, makeup even. Like perfumes made me feel so energized and confident and sexy and happy, like so many different emotions. And I found that really special. And I do feel like, you know, I am definitely a very sensitive person. I'm emotional. And I feel like people who are really sensitive love fragrances because of how they make you feel. And I love it. I consider perfumes like magic in a bottle. It's like your mood maker.
And you launched Kayali after many years of working together with your sisters,
Yeah.
and it was your own thing,
Yeah.
right? So fragrances have always, I guess it's been very distinctively Mona.
Yeah, well, you know, originally I started working on the idea of launching a fragrance back in 2010. So it was actually, I think, the tipping point came from doing PR for a fragrance brand. It was a brand called 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐷. It's a very like niche brand. It's still like everything's done by the 2 founders. It's a husband and wife, and they're based out of Grasse in France. And I fell in love with them. Like I loved the brand before I met them, but after working with them and doing their PR, I fell in love with them, their brand, and I was just like, maybe one day I can create a brand too. So I started meeting with investors back in 2010, and I had a deck, I had an idea. It wasn't the same as Kayali, but it was different and interesting. You know, it was still inspired by the Middle East and like the rituals and the mixing and everything. But just, you know, for whatever reason, like every meeting didn't really lead to anything. And I think every delay has a blessing. We always say that in Arabic. It's قُلْتَ خِيرَ فِي خِيرَ.
So what's good for Mona today?
Well, I think, you know, I have a lot more boundaries now, and I'm only accepting people who are pushing me forward in life too, because I love to push people forward. I love to support people, and I want people like that in my life also. So I'm just, I'm still patient, but I tolerate a lot less in my life. I'm like, okay, like my BS meter is like, it's very sensitive, and when it goes off, I'm like, okay, next. Like I've got to like make room for only things that are very meaningful to me and things that are good for me.
Well, Mona, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank
I mean,
you.
the conversation,
You're
the
so
food, the setting.
Thank you.
Thank you.